Mats Sundin is one of the most consistent and influential players in NHL history, yet his name rarely enters conversations about the all-time greats. Despite breaking records, leading one of hockey's most storied franchises, and becoming the face of Swedish excellence in the league, Sundin remains surprisingly underappreciated. This video looks back at his career and explores why his legacy deserves more recognition. Mats Sundin's path to NHL prominence began in the suburbs of Stockholm. Drafted first overall by the Quebec Nordiques in 1989, he became the first European-born player to be selected with the top pick. This was a significant shift in league perception. Until then, teams were often hesitant to build around non-North American talent. Sundin's selection marked a moment of growing trust in European development systems and in Swedish hockey specifically. In his early years with the Nordiques, Sundin adapted quickly to the pace and physicality of the NHL. He registered a 76-point season in just his second year, demonstrating that his transition to North American ice would not be a long process. While the team struggled overall, Sundin's production provided a foundation for his reputation. His ability to play center with size, skill, and vision set him apart in a league that was just beginning to evolve from its traditional molds. The trade to the Toronto Maple Leafs in 1994 changed the trajectory of his career. It was in Toronto where Sundin's legacy would be built. Joining a storied franchise in a demanding hockey market, Sundin stepped into a role that few could manage. Expectations were high. The spotlight was constant. Sundin didn't just meet those standards, he shaped what the Leafs could be during the post-Gilmore, pre-modern era. When Mats Sundin was traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs in 1994, he stepped into one of the most intense hockey markets in the world. Toronto, a city defined by its love for the game, expected leadership, results, and consistency. Sundin delivered. In 1997, he was named the first European-born and trained captain in Maple Leafs history. He held that title for over a decade, leading with quiet strength and consistent production. Unlike many stars, Sundin didn't have a top-tier supporting cast throughout most of his time in Toronto. Despite that, he consistently carried the offensive load. He led the team in scoring every season from 1995 to 2006. He scored 30 or more goals in 10 different seasons and reached the 70-point mark 9 times. In an era marked by defensive systems and low scoring, Sundin's ability to produce without a consistent elite line mate was a rare accomplishment. His leadership style wasn't loud or showy. He didn't seek the spotlight. Instead, he led by example. He played through injuries, faced media pressure without excuses, and never demanded trades or attention. In a market known for its scrutiny, Sundin's ability to stay focused and deliver results made him a cornerstone for over a decade. His consistency and durability earned the respect of teammates, coaches, and opponents across the league. Sundin earned a reputation around the league as one of the most clutch performers of his generation. He holds the Maple Leafs franchise record for most overtime goals and repeatedly delivered in pressure situations. He was often the player who stepped up when the stakes were highest, scoring equalizers, setting up winners, dragging his team into games they had no business staying in. Even as the roster around him changed and aged, Sundin remained the one constant. In playoff runs during the late 90s and early 2000s, he carried a physically limited Toronto team to multiple second-round appearances and 2 trips to the conference finals. What defined Sundin's leadership wasn't just his stats, but how he operated during moments that mattered most. He didn't chase glory or complain when support was lacking. When many would have left for better rosters or lighter pressure, he stayed. His loyalty, combined with his knack for performing under pressure, made him a different kind of captain, one who led through moments rather than words. That's why for Leafs fans and teammates alike, he was more than just a star. He was the foundation. Mats Sundin's NHL career stands out not just for milestones, but for how long he stayed relevant. Over 18 full seasons, he remained a top-line center, consistently playing against the toughest matchups. From his early days in Quebec to his prime in Toronto, Sundin was rarely injured, rarely out of rhythm, and always the central figure of his team's offense. He finished his career with 1,349 points in 1,346 games, a near point-per-game pace. base. Despite playing much of his career in the low-scoring, trap-heavy era of the late 1990s and early 2000s, he never won a scoring title, never led the league in goals, yet year after year, he posted 70 to 90 points, no matter who was on his wing. While other elite centers had the benefit of playing with high-end line mates, Sundin often carried the load in Toronto with rotating cast members. He led the Leafs in scoring for 12 consecutive seasons. That kind of reliability is rare, especially from a player expected to anchor both the power play and the penalty kill. Though his success with the Swedish national team added to his legacy, it was his durability and performance in the NHL that defined him. Few players have been able to sustain such high standards across nearly 2 decades. For Toronto, he wasn't just the captain, he was the system. Everything ran through him.